A record finish for the Dow, the world's most recognizable index, rallied after the chair of the Federal Reserve said the central bank plans to increase interest rates, but perhaps not as often as some had thought. Janet Yellen used the word gradual to describe the pace of increases, a word which she's used before, but today the lack of tough talk was enough to send stocks higher. The Dow Jones Industrial Average advanced 123 points to a record 21,532. The Nasdaq added 67 and the S&P 500 was up 17. Steve Liesman has more on why investors liked what they heard.
3 hours of testimony, and as far as the markets were concerned, it all boiled down to one dovish comment from Fed Chair Janet Yellen about interest rates.
Because the neutral rate is currently quite low by historical standards, the federal funds rate would not have to rise all that much further to get to a neutral policy stance.
That comment had been echoed by Fed Governor Lael Brainerd, suggesting more than one key central banker embraces the idea that the Fed doesn't really have very far to go when it comes to raising interest rates. And the Fed chair added that the next rate hike is contingent on the inflation data heading back towards the Fed's 2% target.
Monetary policy is not on a preset course. We're watching this very closely and stand ready to adjust our policy if it appears that the inflation undershoot will be persistent.
All of that prompted markets to start baking out the possibility of a third rate hike this year. It's now well below 50%. Bond yields fell and stocks rallied. Yellen also sees global growth helping the U.S. economy this year. She opposes the efforts to audit monetary policy put forward by some Republicans in Congress, and she made no comment when asked about whether she'd serve a second term if nominated by President Trump.
Your term as Fed chair ends in 2018, and there is a long history of presidents renominating Fed chairs. Are you open to serving another 4 years as Fed chair?
What I've previously said is that I absolutely intend to serve out my term. I'm very focused on trying to achieve our congressionally mandated objectives, and I really haven't had to give further thought at this point to this question.
The Fed chair also insisted balance sheet reduction could begin soon, but didn't give a month. Many in the markets think it could happen as soon as September, but it remains possible to be announced at the meeting this month. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Steve Liesman.